Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Crafty Gemini, and welcome to WIP Wednesday, episode number 104. Today I have several different little things to show you, share with you, and talk about. So we are going to get started in a second. Let's just make sure that everybody can see me and hear me. Let me know in the chat box if you can. My voice is a little raspy. I had a sewing retreat this weekend, and I tend to talk a lot. So excuse me, I have some water here, but I can feel it starting to go. All right, we got Wendy in the house from Australia. Hey. Michelle Knapp is in the house from up the road. She says in Orlando. Welcome. We got Tamara in the house. Hi, Kat from North Carolina, and Pat from Tennessee is tuning in. Hi, Diane, tuning in from Maryland. We got Pam from California also. Okay, good. So it looks like y'all can see me and hear me. Thanks, Glenda, for letting me know. Awesome. And Only One Staley says hello from Miami. First time here, well, welcome. I'm originally from Miami. Well, I grew up in Miami. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start off with our latest new half-yard fabric bundle. So if you want to give everybody my over-the-shoulder shot here, I'll start talking cute fabrics. So if you're not aware, we tend to do these different half-yard bundles. We put the fabric on sale, and they're all super high-quality, designer-quality quilting cottons. In this case, these all happen to be from Art Gallery Fabrics, but they are not from one specific collection. So these are bundles that I curate myself. I pick fabrics that I like and I feel go together, and then I put them together. Okay, so we sell them in half-yard chunks, and this is the latest bundle that's for sale right now. I'm not sure if we're sold out because if you're not on my newsletter, on my email newsletter list, I always send the information for WIP Wednesdays there, and so I already included the link for the fabric bundle. So I know several people have already been picking them up, and for those that are new to this, once they're sold out, they're sold out. I don't restock them, and this is our 8th half-yard fabric bundle, I think. So I'm going to put some of these fabrics together just to show you my ideas behind what I was thinking when I selected these fabrics. These, because they're half yards, you're basically getting 2.5 yards total of fabric here at a steeply discounted price. So it's totally worth it, especially if you're someone who kind of struggles sometimes to pick fabrics and you're not sure what fabrics go together. Maybe you're working on a pouch or a purse and you're trying to figure out what fabric to use for the exterior, what to use for the lining. I always like to try at least and include a darker print in case you're planning to make some type of a bag or a pouch so that it doesn't get quite as dirty so quickly. So I have this print here. And I'll open it up. Oh, we have 10 left. So we have 10 bundles left. So if you want to grab one, either pop open another device or you might want to jump off and go check it out. But for those of you that are here live with us right now, the link is in the description box on YouTube and in the Facebook chat as well. Okay, so this is a darker print. I love a good geometric like this. It's like terrain. I think it's called Ecoterra. What was the name of this collection? Yeah, Esoterra. Or Esoterra, however you pronounce it. But I love it. It's nice and dark. It's kind of like, it kind of shows up similar to what it looks like on camera, but it looks to me like a dark gray or slate color there. It's more green in real life. So it's a deep, like dark, not a hunter green, but like a darker grayish green. And so this would be great to play as a dark solid if you were planning to use it for the exterior of something. This one also goes nicely with it because this greenish is kind of like a green-gray color. The diagonal lines here and the ones running down the center of this geometric shape really pair nicely with this. I love this. Then if we scoot this guy out the way, you can see that this geometric print has a lot of different colors. So it has this kind of, it's like a dark slate gray, I would say, are the diagonal lines. And then that color is also separating all the different colors here. But there are yellows, there's some light minty color, a darker kind of slate tealish color, some oranges, some peaches, some whites, pinks, and yellows. So there's a ton of colors going on here. And so I thought if you wanted to pop the yellow and some of the bits of pink with the little asterisks that we have on this one, this is really cute together. This print, for those of you that like quilted projects or bags, but maybe are afraid of freehand quilting it yourself, look at all the lines on this. You could pick these diagonal lines, and they seem to be, to my eye, about 1.25 inches maybe. Let me grab this ruler here. I don't want to reach in front of the camera, but yep, 1.25 inches. My eyes don't fail me. So they're about 1.25 inches, and you have these diagonals. If you just went along these diagonal lines, as we often like to do in some of the quilted bags, you know, we do those cross-hatching lines. If you did that, each one of these diamonds with all these fun geometric shapes and angles and stuff here would totally pop. So I thought this one was a fabulous one for any of you who want to make some type of quilted projects, okay? Follow the lines on here. Yeah, they might be a little off because, you know, fabric is not always printed perfectly on grain, but you could even go down the lines in the middle. You can go off these lines that are like this and pick some of these triangles. You see how that goes like that? Like here to here, and then skip over 1.25 inches and do more triangles. I mean, there's so many options. This is a great kind of cheater quilting panel, okay? So that one I said would go nicely with this. Of course, goes nicely with this. And then I have another one here. This is like a muted plummy color. Goes beautifully with this one, of course, because it's going to pull on this pinkish color from the little asterisks that are on this yellow print, but also goes nicely with this. Okay, and I feel like the camera, like it's a little bit dark. It's like if I go brighter, it's kind of changing the colors. But the way that it looks right there on camera as I'm seeing on your screen, Brandon, that's exactly the right color. So y'all should be looking at that good. So you see how it's like a little muted plum color, and then it's pulling from the pinks in here. I think all of these together would go great. And again, as I mentioned, sometimes when I post these half-yard bundles, people will say, what collection is that? It's not from one collection. It's from the same manufacturer, but they're all from different collections. I just pick them based on what I like and how I think they would look good together, okay? Oh, awesome. Sheila says, hi from Massachusetts. I just got my bundle. Well, definitely post pictures, Sheila, when you make something with it, because I want to see what you end up turning this into. Then we have this kind of, it's another kind of light, like a grayish blue color that has this cool texture on it. The texture is in the color, like in the print design, not an actual physical texture. But I love fabrics like these because they work as really good blenders and they tend to play as solids for me. This one also plays like a solid for me, even though it has some small little geometric kind of arrows in several different colors in there. But look, this goes good with this. This goes beautifully with this one because there are some pale blue arrows in this one that this blue will pull from those. And then of course, there's also this similar shade in here of the blues, so that goes good with that as well. So I thought that this one, and I wanted to include that darker one in there, would go nicely together. Even this darker green with this by itself would go really pretty, I think. They all just, you know, you can mix and match them depending on the projects that you're working on. And of course, when you're working with a half-yard bundle, this is a good bit of fabric. Whether you're a quilter, you want to put together some pillowcases, maybe some home decor items like table runners, table toppers, and things like that. I think just with these 5 half-yard cuts, you have a good variety of stuff to work with. But definitely, y'all know me with my scrappy pouches and bags. All of these would look amazing together. So definitely check them out because I'm sure we're going to be sold out soon since we only had 10 left when I started talking about these. Okay. Oh, Jackie says to try some pineapple juice to steady my voice after overusing it. Huh, it worked wonders for me when I was still working. I will need to try that. I'll need to juice the pineapple before my daughter gets it because she will eat the whole thing. It's one of her favorite fruits. But I will definitely try that. I have that throat coat tea that I definitely need to make today as well. Of course, I don't really start using it until I start talking, and then I'm like, oh, I have a live today. Wait a minute. Okay, so there it is, half-yard bundle. If you are interested in checking out more half-yard bundles as we release them, make sure that you are signed up for our email newsletter list. You can go to craftygemini.com/newsletter, or even from the main homepage on craftygemini.com, you can click right there. It'll say join our email list, and that is the best way to find out about any Crafty Gemini classes, sales, coupons, new items, and all that good stuff. Okay? Hi, Diana. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Yes, Susan's asking about the Surge Your Bonus video for the cardigan class. Yes, obviously we just got back from my last retreat. We had the hurricane scare last week. We're without power for a whole day, and then we didn't have internet for about 3 days. So we're just now getting back into the swing of things. So yes, we will be getting that bonus video up. Okay, all right. Let me take another sip of water, and we're going to move on now to show you the projects that we made at my latest bag sewing retreat, which was this weekend. Okay, let's start off with the first one. I'll grab the patterns. Well, I'll share both of them. We had, and I say had because I'm pretty sure they're sold out. If not, there's maybe like one left of each in the shop. We have more on order. These are popular patterns because I checked with 2 of the distributors that we order wholesale stuff from, and one of them is completely sold out. The other one I was able to pick up 20, I think, and that same distributor doesn't have of this one. They're back ordered until later this month. So I went ahead and just added them on the site. When they sell out, you can still order on back order, and as soon as we get those orders in, then we'll just ship out any orders that came in. So if there still are any and you want one or you're wanting to try either of these projects out, give it a go. We made the Emerson Crossbody Quilted Bag pattern. This one is by the Blanket Statement, and they're both hard copy patterns that come with a booklet, okay, of instructions. So just so you know, there's a lot of steps because they have different zippers, different compartments, you know, different hardware and stuff like that. And I'll show the samples in a second. Then the second one is the Crescent Tote, and this one is by Noodlehead Patterns, okay? It says up here, petite tote with a flat bottom, but I specifically wanted to show y'all that it's not that petite. So the Crescent Tote is this guy. Look how it is. On next to my head, good size, and it calls for a canvas fabric. We have some of this fabric left. I make kits for all the projects I teach at my retreats, and so after the retreat, you know, during the retreat, retreaters can shop our pop-up shop on site. So whatever we have left, we'll list on the site, and I do believe I have some of this gorgeous feather canvas. It's from Art Gallery Fabrics, great quality. It's about a 9-ounce canvas, so easy to sew on a home sewing machine. So I'll be listing the rest of that bolt up for sale. But the pattern has a flat inset panel here. It's oval shaped. So if you're a beginner, this is probably not the best pattern for you just because you have to inset a panel that is round and it's, you know, you got them biased edges. I will say, based on teaching this to my retreaters, most everybody didn't have any issues in setting the panel here on the exterior, but some people struggled a little bit more with putting the panel in on the lining portion. But it's definitely doable. Those of you that are maybe looking for a little bit of a challenge, it's still a pretty simple project. It just has a lot of steps and a couple that take, you know, a little bit more attention and focus on. But the front panel has a zipper. We use zippers by the yard in this fun blue, shimmery, glittery blue that I liked because, you know, I'm extra and I like that pop. This zippered pocket, you can see the lining fabric here, and then the other side of it is just the same canvas fabric that you used on the exterior. Then we used cotton webbing for the handles. And for the body, some of you that have been with me for a long time and have taken my bag clubs and courses might be amazed, but maybe not surprised to know that we used Bosal Light fusible batting for this project. And it's empty, it's lightweight, and it stands up on its own. So y'all know I swear by that light fusible batting. I know we are sold out. We are waiting on an order from Bosal. A lot of the orders that we're placing have been taking, you know, 3 to 4 months to come in. So apologies for that, but we are waiting on another order. But the reason I think it stands up so well for this size, because I don't really think this is a small bag, it's pretty big, right? Is because the canvas also has some weight to it, so it's helping kind of give a little bit more stability to the finished bag. But that batting is light. You can see that if I wanted to, I could totally fold up this bag into almost nothing, okay? If you use something thicker, like it calls for a fusible fleece, it's gonna be a little bit bulkier, so you can decide on your interfacing depending on the look that you want for your finished bag. Then it has a zippered pocket on the inside, and I know I installed my zipper wrong. I swung it off the end because it's zippers by the yard, and I did that after it was already on, so I didn't even realize that. When I put the pull back on, it went this way. So anyway, you just got to pay attention to where you're installing your zipper pulls. But we have a zippered pocket in here, fully lined with that same lining fabric, and this was another Art Gallery print that we used, and then that kind of light khaki colored cotton webbing. Super cute project. Obviously it is a tote, so there is no closure, but if you just need to throw some things in here, even maybe like a crochet or a knitting project would be fun, or just like a tote for a day out that you want to carry over your shoulder or just in your hands, it's a great, fun little project, okay? And if you're wondering how I got that lining to sit so nice, you already know my tricks if you follow me here. We used a larger seam allowance, about 1 inch. We went 5/8 or half an inch, which is the seam allowance for the top, for about 1 inch. Then we went big, big, big. And before we got to the bottom, we phased back out to a 1/2 inch seam allowance to make sure that that panel, right, because it was pattern template pieces, so that the pattern template for the bottom, the inset panel at the bottom could still fit. So that's one. That was the Crescent Tote by Noodlehead Patterns, and we do have it for sale in the shop. Again, when it sells out, you can order on back order, and as soon as we get them in, we will ship them out to you, okay? Yeah, JC says I can always add snaps. You can always add snaps. If you make one and you like it and you know you want to make another one or whatever, you can always go in the lining layer and install some magnetic snaps, even 1, 2, and 3 on either side of the handle and one in the middle. You can go click, 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 and click here if you wanted to have a couple or just one to help keep it a little bit more shut, okay? Diana says, even if the zipper is wrong, but I love it, that's okay. One of the girls, Laura, installed hers this way too on the front, which we say it's backwards because I'm right-hand dominant and I want my zipper to open left to right. But if you're left-handed, then it is correct for you because you likely want to open your zipper from right to left. Either way, I know where the zipper pull is and I'm still going to be able to open that zipper, okay? So moving on, we have the Emerson crossbody quilted bag pattern. I had seen this one making the rounds on social media when we were looking at patterns to teach for this bag sewing retreat. And so I snatched it up. And let me tell y'all, when you look at it like this, it's kind of, I would say maybe a little disappointing that they have a color. It's not an actual picture like an image. It's a graphic illustration on the front cover. I don't think it really shows you how good this bag looks and how functional it can be depending on the fabrics that you're making it out of. I get what they were trying to do here is to show like you can make it plain and solid or add some scrappiness to it or use, you know, or even do even more scrappy to it. But let me show y'all the one that I made. Is this not the cutest thing ever? I use this cotton chambray. If you've been to my classes or you've come to retreats, you recognize this fabric because I like to use it a lot for my kits. We don't have much of it left, so it won't be getting listed in the shop. I like to use it for my samples too. But it's a cotton chambray. It's like a denim-y color, but it's not denim, right? So we're still playing with a lighter weight. It's still kind of a medium weight, 100% cotton fabric. But I mean, in this color, it matches with everything. No matter the wash of jeans, I think it'll go great with anything. Then, of course, my zippers by the yard that are super fun. My retreaters from the past retreats of this year have seen these in their, or have seen these and probably have them in some of the bags that they made. And so I think having such a neutral background with a pop of the zippers and the zipper pulls looks so, so cute. All right, so this project, I would say, I'm trying to think the level, like a confident beginner could tackle this, okay? Yes, you have a front panel here and you have a back panel that needs to get sewn to a gusset, okay? The gusset has a zipper, then you basically make a ring and you go in to put in these two panels, right? If you've made some of my bags from previous bag clubs and you know this style of construction, you'll definitely be able to tackle this project, okay? It has a zipper in the front. I used some scrap fabrics that I had here in my stash because I made it at home. Okay, so super cute. You can add whatever pop of color you want, regardless of what fabric you use for the exterior. And then the main one, let me show y'all. It has a pocket here, just like a slip pocket. My phone is the big boy, the big, this is like the iPhone 14 Plus Pro Max, so the big, big one. And look, it fits in that pocket beautifully. So if you have big phones and you're always, you know, we like to make our pouches, well, I need to make it a little bit bigger so it can fit my phone and all that. This is a great one. It even fits in this front pocket. Look at that, with plenty of room to spare. It's little, but the little bag packs a punch, okay? So for a day out, if you're going to an amusement park, a museum, farmer's market, a festival, craft fair, all that. This, I'm going to Maryland at the end of the month to see my friend Laura. Hi, Laura, if you're watching. And I'm definitely taking this because this, they call it in the pattern a crossbody quilted bag. I know a lot of us, if we see this, we think, oh, those are like the little fanny packs that go around your waist or your hip. You can wear it lower on the hip. You can wear it crossbody over the shoulder with the pouch in the front, or as is pictured on the website of the designer where they sell the pattern too, behind, okay? So over the back. So over a shoulder, apologies if I'm hitting the microphone, but look how cute. So that's probably how I'm going to be wearing mine on my trip. So anyway, just showing y'all. And then of course, you know, if you're a quilter, you know what we're doing right here. Showing off the beautiful bound seams. Yes, I did hand stitch them, but you don't have to. It didn't take me that long, y'all. It was like maybe 15 minutes to hand stitch both. Easy peasy. I love that I bound it with a contrasting print so it pops. But you have plenty of fabric here if you follow the pattern instructions for the width of the binding. You see, it's kind of even like swimming in there a little bit. I could have pulled it more taut down, but you'll have definitely a ton of space there that if you wanted to machine stitch it from this side, you would absolutely catch it if you had it taut against the back side. So you could easily machine stitch this quick in like 30 seconds. I would just recommend you, I mean, if it wasn't for the zipper, it could be reversible. I'm just saying. Oh, I'm so extra. Look how cute, y'all. Look how cute. Cute pocket, simple. This one, again, for those of you that maybe want a little closure there, I don't feel like you need it because the bag is not big and open, right? You could put a little magnetic snap there. You can do, I'm trying to think what else, a little hook and loop tape. I wouldn't do a cam snap, though, because it would have to go in through here so you have some substance for it to grab onto, okay? But an invisible magnetic snap in between the layers would easily work right there. And again, for this one, what do we use? We use just regular Quilter's Dream cotton batting. And look at the shape that it has. If you have a regular home sewing machine that maybe is not designed to sew through a ton of bulk, I would stay away from trying to make this out of the foam stabilizer. Instead, I would choose something like the light fusible batting, regular cotton batting. All you have to do is quilt the exterior fabric, the layer of the batting, and the lining fabric. All you need is a fat quarter. This is amazing. For scraps, you can piece together a bunch of scraps into a large fat quarter piece and then quilt it. You'd end up with the coolest, funkiest, scrappiest little Emerson crossbody. Okay, so yes, this is one of my new faves. My daughter wants it. I'll have to make her another one. Then it has these wings on the side that you can decide to quilt or not. Then I used black cotton webbing here. It has an adjustable slider, and then it has a buckle, just like a backpack would. Okay? So we can adjust it. Super cute. And again, that's the Emerson crossbody quilted bag pattern. Again, we had some of these in stock. If they're sold out, you can order it on back order. And as soon as we get our order in, we will ship it out to you. Okay? Yes, Brenda says, I'd love to make that crossbody bag. Yep, yep. And Windless Original says, oh, nice. I definitely have plenty of Quilter's Dream. Absolutely. If you're a quilter and you have quilt scraps, easy peasy. Now this one, because I was making a sample, I was just trying to get through the steps to, take notes on how I was going to teach it and where students would have issues with it and stuff like that. So I just did 2-inch apart lines on the diagonal and cut out the cross hatching. But guess what? If you are a quilter and you have practice sandwiches, you know who I'm talking to out there, of your free motion quilting or straight line quilting or just any quilting that you're practicing a design, chop that up. If you have a fat quarter size piece of quilted panels that you're always like, oh, I don't want to throw them away. They were just practice pieces, but what can I make with them? This would be a fabulous project to make with it. Because you're cutting out, using the template pieces out of that fat quarter, you cut out your pieces and bam, you get a cute, funky little pouch. Okay? Yes. Windless Original says, I dig those strap wings. Absolutely. I chose to go, I think I just used interfacing here and I didn't quilt it. That's just, and it says it in the pattern instructions, is to give you another option. Like if you don't have a machine that can handle a lot of bulk, then those are just some of the places, right, where you're adding more layers that you can skimp on it a little bit so you're not quite having to sew through quite as bulky of an area, okay? But we sewed these up at my retreat on Juki DX5s, which are computerized home sewing machines, and they worked out great, okay? And this one I made on my Juki LB5020, on the little guy right here on the table. All right. Tracy says, I have a pile of samples. You already know. You can chop them up and make those cute bags, okay? Eunice is asking if these 2 bags come with free video tutorials. They don't. I'm not planning to make classes on these. I just wanted to share with y'all what we did and what I taught in person at my last bag sewing retreat. Because every time we post pictures, people are like, what pattern is that? Where can I get it? And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. But I don't have plans to make classes for these bags just yet because my team and I are currently working on the next bag club. Okay? So no time for those now. Next up, let's see what I got here. Oh, great. Linda, I will answer that question right now. She's saying, can you list the dimensions? Sure. So for the Emerson crossbody bag, here it says the finished size is 9 inches wide by 5 inches high by 3 inches deep. So 3 inches here, 5 inches tall, and 9 inches across. And that's about right. If I go edge to edge, mine is, yeah, it's 9. Yep, right at 9. Yep, right at 5 and right at 3. Okay, There you know that my seam allowances were accurate. So 9 by 5 by 3, but it does say difficulty is intermediate, okay? Because there are, the binding, the machine stitch, and if you want hand sewn binding, and the round curves is mostly what's going to give, I would say, beginners more issues. But if you know how to do this kind of stuff, or you've taken some of my other classes in the past, you already know. A zippered gusset, we're installing 2 zippers, a simple slip-in pocket on the inside, and it just has a lot of steps, right? Because we have to install this, the wings, the 2 zippers, another pocket, and you have lining plus binding. But I mean, if you're a confident beginner or if you've made several bags, you could totally tackle this, okay? Then the dimensions for the crescent tote, let me see if it listed on here. If not, I'll measure it. Yep, so the approximate dimensions are 10 3/4 tall. So it says a petite tote, but man, it ain't that petite. 10 3/4 tall by 10 inches wide, okay? And then 5.5 inches deep. It says measured at the oval base. So from here to here, okay? But obviously it opens more this way so you could fit something that's bigger than those dimensions in here. I just love the way that this looks. And you know me, I like to use a light colored fabric for the lining, okay? So you can see what's at the bottom of your bags. All right, so hopefully that helps. Let's see. Angelina's asking, if you join one of your retreats, do you need your own sewing machine? No, we always provide sewing machines for anyone coming to our in-person retreats because we have a lot of people that fly in from all over the country and even Canada. And so, ain't nobody traveling with their sewing machine like that. So yes, we do provide that as well. Okay. The last thing I have here to share with y'all is this thing. Dun, dun, dun. The girls at Sew Tights. I think they started off, they have a company of magnets. So people have been using these little magnets to hold fabric layers together, whether they're doing English paper piecing, different hand stitching projects and stuff is how I learned about it years ago. And then I know some of my friends that are long arm quilters started using their longer bar magnets to clamp on the fabric layers to their frame, to their long arm frame. I have been using small little magnets to load my quilt backing and things like that on my long arm, I don't know, for over 13 years or something now. But they come out with these long bars which cover, excuse me, a larger surface area for the magnets. Well, now they have this new thing called the Sew Magnetic Cutting System. Sew Magnetic Cutting System. Yes, by Sew Tights. That's what it's called. So Tracy says, OMG, you got the system. So they reached out to see if I wanted to try it. This is not a sponsored post. I told them sure. Mainly because a lot of you struggle with cutting. Y'all know cutting is my most favorite part of the quilting process. I don't have no issues with cutting. It could be 1 1/8 by 1 7/8, and I can cut 5,000 of them in little pieces. That's my favorite part is cutting. But no matter how many tips I share, I still have people that struggle with cutting. So I thought, well, let me try it out and give my take on it and see if the people, will need this or it can help somebody out there. Now, I will let you know, it's on pre-order now. They're not out yet. So it's on pre-order. If this is something that you end up wanting to get, I have a coupon code for y'all, 15% off, which the price is not cheap. This is definitely an investment. But with the 15% off, it gives you like $56 off, I think, somewhere around there. So it's a good chunk. And you get $15 off if you use the code CraftyGemini. All together, capital letters, CraftyGemini on their site. You'll get 15% off. So let's talk about this thing, and I'll give you my take. I just got it. It was waiting for me at home when I got back from my retreat. So the mat, first of all, is 7 layers thick. When I tell you it feels good, it's substantial. It's not no flimsy mat. It's like, and there's something, can you hear that? It's like this smooth, I don't know how to explain the feeling, but it just feels like, ooh, like the first thing I want to do is take the rotary cutter to it. I don't know. It has this slick hand to it that just feels good. Like I want to cut into it, okay? Now, the mat itself, let me move these magnets. These are the little magnets. They stick like this. Oops, I just scraped the mat. Anywho, that's a magnet color thing. Okay, one side is gray with black lines. Well, one side is a pale gray with black lines. The other side is a darker gray with white lines. I am thinking from the little bit that I have used this so far that for my smaller projects and my quick tutorials and stuff, I think I'm going to be using this mat on my white table here because of how it looks. I think it has the colors of the fabric look even better than against the white. So you might be seeing it on here, not necessarily with all the magnets and stuff, but I like the mat. It's just like a good feeling, okay? So it's 7 layers thick and it's a magnetic mat, okay? So it has these magnets that stick. It also comes with the ruler. Now the ruler is 6.5 inches by 24. So it's a long strip ruler. If you're a quilter and you need to cut strips, and if that's mostly where you have issues where you're like trying to cut and the ruler moves on you, this may be helpful because you're getting a little bit more help from the magnets that you can see. These circles in here are magnets. So they're helping keep the ruler back down on the mat, but you can still move it. So I thought that was pretty cool because you know me, I like to slide my ruler up and down and I need to be able to move it, but it's still like stuck to the mat. It's like a weird feeling. If you've never used something like this, I was like, this is different. But one of the things I'll say that I love just about the mat is the size. So from edge to edge, it measures 21 inches by 25, which is kind of weird, right? We're used to having 18 by 24, but on those, sometimes I struggle to cut fat quarters on them. And this one you can put a whole fat quarter on it. I mean, you could cut a whole half-yard thing, obviously, but say you were cutting up a fat quarter into a ton of stuff. If I keep this folded up, this is a half yard, but if it's folded like this is the equivalent of a fat quarter. Like opened up, it would be a fat quarter, and you can see that I still have plenty of mat around it. So it's a good size, but still pretty compact for those of you that, you know, maybe work and sew on a dining room table or on a kitchen counter or a small desk. This would still work for that, okay? So the lines, as far as the lines that are printed on the mat, those go 24 inches by 20, okay? So if you were needing to like cut separate a piece or something, you can go all the way, you know, closer to the edge beyond the marking lines. But 20 by 24 are what you have lines on for measurements. And there are 1/8 inch increments on these, as well as a quarter, half an inch, and the full inch, obviously. Okay, so pretty cool. I mean, the ruler itself has all the lines. Again, they have 1/8, quarter inch, half inch, and full inch increments. So for quilters, you know, we need those 1/8 inch. You know, with any ruler, you're gonna have to get used to seeing the numbers going both ways, but they do have them on here going both ways. Like if I was counting to the left, the black boxes have my numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I know the rest is 6.5. And then if you were, let me show it this way. Then you have the columns going this way, opposite, if I was using it like to cut a strip. So you have to, depending on how you're orienting your fabric, whether you're cutting strips or you're cutting chunks, you'll need to see which squares you're looking at, the black ones or the light ones, the half inch lines, okay? So then here's something cool that I thought they did, is the edges are not straight. They're beveled. And I find that it makes it easier actually to pick up the ruler, because it's not lying completely flat. So if it's here, because it's beveled down towards the mat, it's like, I would have never even thought of this. It makes it easier because you can actually get a little bit of your finger under there to pick it up. Y'all know when we have them flat rulers, you're like trying to pick it up from here. But because the ends of it are beveled, you can pick it up a little bit easier. That's pretty cool. Something small, but cool. Then it has some angles on the ruler itself. You got your 30, your 45, your 60-degree angles on here. You know, kind of an all-purpose ruler that goes along with this. Now, the magnets, it came with a bunch of these magnets. I'm going to see what I end up doing for storage because, look, they just click, 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 want to click all together. So if you have them on your mat and you're using this mat as your only mat for setup, that would be cool. For me, I don't see myself using the magnets all the time either because, again, I don't really have issues with cutting. But they all slide off. You can, you know, stack them in a little corner. And let me show y'all something. So if this is my piece of fabric, this is the first thing I noticed. You know me, I swipe my rulers. I like to move stuff, so I need to do what I'm going to be doing normally. This is the weirdest thing to me, y'all. The fabric is under there, and I'm moving the ruler, but the fabric doesn't move. I was like, how is this working? You know when you swipe across, that your fabric like swipes under, or if you're just trying to like exactly get it to where you need it to be? I wonder if this is coming across, because I feel like if you quilt and you cut a lot of fabric, you probably feel me. If I'm right here and I need to cut something and I need to scoot it over, look at that. I can go up, down, side to side, and the fabric doesn't move. So for that alone, you may see me using this. Now I understand that there's a magnet under and the ruler has magnets, but that's already enough for me to want to use it without even messing with these guys. So this if your fabric tends to move on you a lot, you know, it's like pattern weights, except they're magnetic. So you don't have to just rely on the weight of the pattern like we would, right? If we're using, you know, a variety of pattern weights. I have these big ones for when I'm cutting around garments and pattern template pieces. But of course, when I come near them, they're so big, I got to move them over and keep cutting, okay? So even without the magnets, this right here is a game changer for me. Look. I can scoot. You know when you're like looking like, okay, I need to scoot a little bit? The fabric wants to move sometimes on you. So that alone for me is like, look at that. Okay, I'm going to align it right here with one line. And you can get up there, up until the line. Perfect. And then I just put my hand on here and cut. And when I tell you it cuts like butter, this is a new rotary blade on this rotary cutter. But still, it is such a smooth cut. Look at this. I'm not going to lie. I like it. And I'm telling you, I was like, I don't have no issues with cutting. Cutting is, you know, I don't have issues. But I was like, let me see, you know, what this is all about. So if you had a bigger piece that you wanted to go in and cut into multiple chunks in different dimensions, I could definitely see where having the magnets, you know, kind of around the perimeter of the fabric piece would help to stabilize it a little bit more. But that right there was enough for me. I was like, how is this not moving? Look at that. It's like, so it's like stuck to the magnets, but you can, y'all, I don't even know what to say. To me, I'm like, wow. Shaw Jones is asking, do the weights fit in the center of the ruler? It literally just jumped right to it. This is a magnet on its own too, though. Oh, you know what? You know how some of y'all be using them handles? And I'm talking about some of y'all because you know I don't, cutting is my jam. Oh, could you use these as handles? That's kind of cool. Oh my goodness. Are you serious right now? Like, wow, look at that. So you can help use these magnets on here to help you manipulate the ruler. Interesting. Oh, I like that. I don't even know if I've seen them do a demo of using it like that. And you could probably even just put down on it, you know, for some of you that maybe can't put down the upward pressure like this, maybe you can hold one and just put your fist pressure down like this. That's an option. Yeah, this is kind of cute. So, anywho, let me tell you how many magnets came. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. So 12 magnets is a good bit. You know, for smaller pieces, you're only popping 2 or 3 on there if you need it. Winless Original says, okay, well, now I want it even more. This is what we do here, right? Thank you for asking that question. You know I love a good experiment. It's like, let's try it. But yeah, they jumped right to it. Ooh, that's strong. I mean, I can pull it off of it, but it's also, you know, there's a good grab there. So cool. Okay. Tracy's asking, yes, oh, you're answering to someone. It is a self-healing mat, and it's a good one. I mean, now I'm not going to lie, this thing is expensive. This is quite the investment, but if you're someone who maybe has been quilting for years and you have nothing but problems cutting, it might be worth the investment for you, okay? Remember, if you use the coupon code CRAFTYGEMINI, all together, one word, all caps, you get 15% off. I know that they're not in yet. Like, you can't buy it and get it right now. They're on pre-order, okay? But you can get them from the Sewed Tights website. All right, let's see. Yes, and so you could use this for cutting out, I mean, depends on the garment that you're making. I see, who was saying that? Susan was saying that the magnets would be great for cutting garments out because it'll keep the fabric from slipping. Yes. The only thing is that this is their only size mat right now. So depending on the garment size or the piece that you're cutting out, you're limited, right, to this mat. Unless, I know people have done something where like they put some magnetic sheet under their table or something, you know. It could potentially work. The strength of these magnets against this, I'm sure it has something to do with the 7 layers that are in here. Look at this. Can y'all see how thick and substantial this is? It's really good. And the fact that you have both sides. So if you wear one side out of the cutting mat itself, you still have extra life on the underside, okay? Let's see. Yeah, so Eunice is asking if it will be in the shop. We won't be selling this ourselves in the shop. We're just giving a coupon code that Sewed Tights gave us for our viewers. The price, yeah, thank you, Patty, for posting it. She says the price on the So Tight website right now is $374.99. So if you use my coupon code, you get 15% off of that, which will bring it down under $320, I think, somewhere around there. All right. Yep. Yep, Pam, exactly right. So that using the magnets on the ruler also, it gives more magnetic force on the ruler against the mat, right, over your fabric if you're cutting with that. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention about this, because I'm thinking, you know, the different ways, since we sew a lot of everything here, quilts, bags, clothes, and all that. If you quilt and then you need to cut out the panels, which this is just a chunk from that bag I showed y'all, the Emerson crossbody, okay? I quilted the whole fat quarter panel with that Quilter's Dream batting in there. And then we have 3 layers. We have a quilt here. If you're someone who struggles not just to cut straight, but cut accurately without things slipping on you, you know that when we get into multiple layers, it gets even trickier because now you have the bulk that's separating the ruler from actually hitting the mat. So this is an area that I thought this magnetic setup here would work well because now you're getting more downward pressure from the ruler to cut bulkier layers, okay? So if you, if you look at that, ooh, yeah. No, it just, I mean, it does cut like butter, I'm not gonna lie, and you know I like to cut, so the feel of the cut needs to be just right for me. But even when I, look at this, I have a whole quilt. This is a quilt sandwich under here, 3 layers. I got exterior fabric, batting, and backing fabric, and still, when I move the ruler, the fabric don't move. So you already know how much downward pressure it's getting there, because the look at this, and it stays put. So this will help cut thicker things for those of you that make rag quilts, for those of you that make stuff with that Shannon fabrics, you know, the minky, the fluffy stuff that a lot of times, because it's so puffy and it's so slick and stuff, that stuff can move on us sometimes. For specialty textiles like that, I think this is going to be fabulous to cut, which I'm laughing at myself because I was like, I don't need that. I like to cut, but yes. Oof, yeah. So yeah, don't be surprised when you see this mat on top of my other mat here for cutting up stuff. Winless Original says definitely feel like it would help squaring up quilts. Absolutely. So anything where you have, I mean, flat fabric, as you saw, easy to cut just straight through the cotton, but also the quilted fabric. So when you're squaring up the corner of a quilt and you don't want things to move, that would work out great for this. My next experiment will be using some stretch knits, like a cotton spandex. I don't have any here right now, but using something like that to cut on it to see how it cuts. Because if that's the case, then yeah, you might be seeing this mat a lot. Too bad that it's just, I mean, it's a good size. I'm not gonna lie. If you make pouches, if you make quilts, it's a good size. Me, I'm already thinking, can I get one custom to the size of this table? That would be awesome too. Okay, awesome. Yes, so again, the coupon code is Crafty Gemini, altogether one word, capital letters, Crafty Gemini, and that'll give you 15% off if you want to go ahead and pre-order this setup. So one other thing I was going to mention, okay, it comes with the mat, the magnets, the ruler, and then the box that it comes in is this big old box. Okay, y'all can see it here. It has a handle, so they say that you can even store it in here. You know, if you're limited on space, you need to slide this behind or under a bed or something to keep it, you know, stored away. That's an option. But they also went ahead and sent me this big old tote bag for it. So if you're going to like a retreat, look how cute. You're So Magnetic by So Tights. So I can slip this whole mat in here, okay? Make a little pouch, you know, put the magnets in it and just pop the ruler in there as well. Yep. All right, so I'm sure that that's going to be like an optional accessory or something that y'all can get, but they went ahead and sent that to me to try it out, and I'm so glad that I said yes because I usually say no to these kinds of things. But I really like it. I mean, it's an investment, like I said, but y'all seen that on fabric. That's so weird to me that like it doesn't move. It just is like, so you can find, this is another thing, that if you know you have a bigger piece than what you need, but you're like, oh, what number, where am I? While you're figuring out where you're looking to see the dimension you need to cut, you know that the fabric's not gonna move on you. Like you're just like, oh, it's 2 inches, okay, 2.5 by 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, whatever your cutting situation and setup is, you can do that while you're, I mean, that alone for me is like, come on. Okay. Kathleen says, I did see a demo just the other day, but you're having so much fun, I forgot all those details. It is super fun. Now, mine came with a little card that gives you some general use instructions. So it says only use rotary cutters on the mat since it is self-healing. Knives with fixed blades may damage it, so you don't want to use that. Then it says to make sure that you're always using a sharp blade to extend the life of the mat. Obviously, it makes cutting easier anyway. You can rotate and flip the mat occasionally so that you're not, putting all the pressure just on one side, one color of it. And you can store it on a flat surface in a cool, dry area out of direct sunlight or store it in that box. Don't leave it in a car or in a very hot or cold area. And you can wipe it clean with a dry cloth, and you can spot clean with a little bit of water if you needed. What else? Keep flat. Don't try to roll the mat. It will never roll. I told y'all it's 7 layers. Don't do it. And then not to iron on top of it, obviously. If you have a self-healing mat, you kind of know those general maintenance rules anyways. This one is just a lot thicker, and it has magnet inside, okay? Sherry, I have no idea if it would interfere with a pacemaker or not. Maybe reach out to them. Maybe they've done some research on that, or maybe they have someone who has told them or something. Yes. Oh, thank you, Tracy, for bringing it up. The system that I have here is the right-hand system. They have a lefty system where the mat and the ruler is designed specifically for lefties so that you can cut in the right orientation to you as far as the lines, the numbers, and all of that stuff. So when you go to order, pre-order in this case, you select right-handed setup or left-handed, because I do remember they asked me that, and I told them right-handed. So yes, they have a full system that is for lefties as well, okay? So again, you can put a whole fat quarter on here, or if you're cutting up folded, you could cut a whole half yard. So if I put a half yard in this orientation and you're wanting to cut strips, I would just turn the mat and put it like this. And you could chop this thing up in no time. Super quick. Use the help of the magnets or not. Obviously the ruler has its magnets too. And I already went ahead and tried to cut with like my ruler, like the Crafty Gemini 5x10. The mat is just a good mat, y'all. It feels really, really good cutting on it. Oh, I was like, what's pulling me? The magnets. Let me show you. Ooh, hoo, hoo. It's the mat. I'm trying to tell y'all. Look at this. It don't move. So you already know you can use other rulers that you have as well. If you have a Crafty Gemini 5x10, like this one here, there's something going on with this mat. It's so good. When I told y'all at the beginning, I was like, it just has like this feel to it. So there you go. Even with other rulers, magnets, no magnets, if you're using a specialty type of ruler where, you're cutting angles and things like that, sometimes when we're cutting along the diagonal for patchwork or different bag patterns that require some different shaping that's not just squares and strips and rectangles, you might find that the magnets might help you, because if you're cutting on a curve, sometimes when we go to cut on a curve, it might move on us a little bit. So using the magnets on the outer edge, obviously, so it doesn't interfere with the ruler and the rotary cutter, I could see that being really, really helpful. Like if you're cutting something on a diagonal, just to help it keep it from moving. So even though you have 12, for little instances like that, I could see myself just putting 1, 2, or 3, depending on the size of the fabric. So that, because it's helpful. I mean, you have it there, right? Why not use them? Because the whole mat is magnetized. So really cute. I'm glad I got it. Thank you, Sew Tights. And there you go. Okay? Oh, Thunderous Wizard is saying, I've heard that you need to keep magnets away from computerized machines. Do you think it's that strong? I don't know that this is that strong, but I wouldn't be cutting right next to the sewing machine either. You know what I mean? Usually we have some type of a cutting and ironing station or setup, and then your sewing machine. But I do know that the magnetic seam guides, having talked to my sewing machine dealer who services machines, has been doing that for decades, they said that they've never come across a magnet that was strong enough to affect the inside parts of the computerized portion of the machine, even when they're put like right next to the sewing machine, because that area is so deep inside that from afar like that, it's not even going to affect. So, unless this was a super duper strong magnet, which it's strong, but like I can still pick stuff up. You know what I mean? It's not that strong. I don't think it would affect, but I don't know. Maybe I wonder if they have like an FAQ page that we could check out to see if somebody else has inquired about that as well. Yes, and Gloria says it helps with templates. That's exactly what I was saying earlier. Like if you're using the Clammy or something and you're cutting rounds and curves or, 30-degree, 60-degree triangles, that would definitely help. Okay? All right. Leona says your 5-inch by 10-inch ruler is my favorite one to use. Awesome. It's mine too. I keep 2 or 3 right here on the table because I use them for everything. If you're cutting up scrappy projects, strips, any type of patchwork, this is a great, great size to have. So these are the ones I use, obviously. I keep them all around, and we do have them in stock in the shop if anybody's looking for a 5-inch by 10-inch ruler. Okay, so go ahead and put them back on my face because I think that is it for my list of stuff today. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode of WIP Wednesday. The patterns, like I said, they're back order, but if you order on back order, as soon as we receive our shipment, we will ship them out to you. The fabric bundle, if it's not sold out already, I'm sure it's going to be sold out soon. So you get 5 half-yard cuts at a steeply discounted price. They're all art gallery fabrics, so check those out. And then I'll be working on another bundle. We're working on the next bag club, so be on the lookout for information on that coming soon. And the Sew Tights, the Sew Magnetic cutting system, you can use my coupon code CraftyGemini. All together, one word in all caps for 15% off if you are wanting to pre-order that system, okay? Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video.